and welcome to a special Oh Shit, Christmas is Next Week edition of Don't Feed the Gondolas. It's been a week in which the European Union claimed that Ireland's beaches are full of washed up crap. However, the government here denies this. It says the hothouse flowers haven't been to the seaside for ages. With Darrell Breen tonight, the most efficient way to answer the question, who is Eamon McCann? It's that bloke over there.
I got off on a good foot.
And with Brendan O'Connor, a woman who in a fan letter was once told this: "You're our favourite TV girl, and wouldn't you make a lovely lady butcher?" Indeed, many men have dreamed of her handling a bit of meat for them. It's Ireland's favourite newsreader, the fabulous Anne Doyle. The big money is betting that Props in the News is the name of our first round, so I'm not going to risk getting my legs broken by disappointing them. Each team get a set of props which pithily refer to one of the week's big stories. All the teams have to do is guess what the story is while being all suave and laconic. Dara and Eamon, you go first. What have you got?
We have a pile of money, cleverly representing money, I think. And then we have this, which I think it looks like a dress suit, but it's actually a nurse's uniform. Very nice, isn't it? And I'd model it for you, but it's just a little bit too small for me to throw.
That's because it's one of Brendan's.
Oh, right, yeah. What they have to do now is they have to sell off all those big hospitals in town, which is proving very difficult because they keep showing people around and going, look, it's a lovely office building, and they're going, no, it's a hospital. Like, oh, okay, it's a hospital. And like they're putting ads in, building for sale would suit large family who like to live in hospital, and stuff like that. So nobody's buying them. This is the game.
I see. Eamon?
This is, well, the story's about the nurses' wages, isn't it? The nurses have gone to the Health Minister, Brian Cowan, haven't they, and said, please, could we have about half your money for the job that we do, which is rather more important than your job? And he said, no, the country can't afford it. But it's very seasonal when you think about it. I mean, going to Brian Cowan and asking for more money, it's very Christmassy. Because, I mean, at Christmas, people do often have to deal with a fat, ugly bloke who, no matter what you ask him for, never really gives it to you.
Oh, happy here, isn't it?
Yes.
I meant to start
Jolly,
up note.
Okay, well, I actually will give you 3 points because you've more or less got it right. The answer is, of course, the handsome Playboy Health Minister, Brian Cowan. After building a huge hospital in Tala, the minister is now refusing to give it any more money on the basis that he just don't like the look of them. You know, all them doctors are giving him the sly eye, you know. Don't like that. Of course, the main problem the minister faces is the site of the hospital. In Tala, it's well known that this is a place where aliens come to abduct humans. Now, we actually have some footage of the occasion when local TD Pat Rabbit was snatched by creatures from another world, right under the nose of an RTE reporter. So there they are. There's Pat at the front there, leading them out, saying this is the site there, and they're all going, oh yes, this is a lovely site here, and they're chatting away there, and there's, hey, where's Pat gone? Pat's gone. That's Paul Reynolds, the crime correspondent. There's a crime going on behind you, and they're all going, where's Pat gone? They're left there hours later looking for Pat, and there you can see clearly that's where the thing landed. So poor old Pat. Very rare, actually, occasion of Pat Rabbit not appearing on television. Brendan and Anne, what do you have?
We have an ABBA CD from the RTE library, which, interestingly enough, has been taken out 4 times, ever. And all by Larry Gogan, I know. I presume it's to do with the whole Nobel Prize thing. Apparently the Swedes, who used to be very good at the Eurovision in the days of ABBA and all that, they want the Eurovision back, basically. So they have decided to start giving us the Nobel Prize in the hope that they can sneak back the Eurovision then, and everyone in Ireland will get really excited about the Nobel Prize and say, oh, we've won the Nobel Prize and the whole world is watching. And in fact, nobody else in the world knows anything about the Nobel Prize.
It's actually the Norwegians. Trying to be picky about this.
So why is it an ABBA CD?
Beats the shit out of me.
Anne!
Do you know where Oslo is?
Eamon, be gentle with him. Sean, be gentle with him. Give him half points at least. He got it half right, and judging by recent programmes, that's a little more than he's done for quite some time. Please constitute...
Et tu, Anne.
No. I never called you a brute. Not a failed attempt at setting up a pawnbrokers. These are the insignia of a breakaway splinter of the Orange Order. It was brought about by the trauma of discovering that it was £25 a pint for a pint of scrumpy in Oslo recently. And the first gesture they've made is they are turning their backs, a dangerous thing to do sometimes, on an anthem like God Save the Queen, and they are going for Dancing Queen.
I'll give you half points just because Anne asked for them. And because obviously Anne watches the programme, which is a great thrill for us all. The actual answer is, of course, well, no, I'll give you 2 points because you did more or less get it right.
Go on. Give us 3.
I'll give you 3, so that. The answer is, of course, as Anne correctly said, David Trimble, who this week with John Hume was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, one notable aspect of the award ceremony in Oslo, which I understand is in Norway, is that Norwegian 80s band a-ha performed specially for the occasion. Somewhat ironically, this prompted several European countries to declare war on Norway. But what of David Trimble? Fighting for peace has taken its toll on the man, so much so that a few years ago he secretly volunteered for an experimental operation which would give him an entirely new head. Now we have some VT of the first time he appeared in public with his new head.
Outside.
And there he is there, he's talking away now. Of course, he's made a fatal error, the error being he's forgotten to take the price tag off his new head. Now, he's looking at that chap and he feels something kind of strange at the back of his head. Hang on. Oh, no! And now it's stuck to me fingers. Oh, God. Nobody will notice if I just throw it over here. There you go. Oh, no, what'll I do now? I know what I'll do. I'll just walk away very carefully and nobody will notice. Okay, there you go. Very good. So, after all that head business, the scores are that Dara's team got 3 points and Brendan's team got 3 points. What's going on here? That's the name of our next round, mainly because that's what it is. Each team are served up a spoonful of videotape, which they must caress with their tongues to taste its secret meaning, or do a few knob gags. Either will do. Dara and Eamon, who are these people?
I know this.
Come on, Mr. Factual Accuracy.
This is actually the Jackie Healy-Rae Memorial National Heavy Metal Music Competition held recently in Kerry. And those are people gathered around supporting their particular favourites. The guy that you saw singing first, he actually won the competition. That was in the category of the quickest to bite the head off a nun. And the guy beside him, he did the longest projectile vomit.
Is that where Jackie Healy-Rae comes into the thing?
Well, I take my hat off to Jackie Healy-Rae, which is more than he ever does to me.
It is a heavy metal thing. I think that's actually a snippet from the new Christmas video, which has been brought up by Iron Maiden, which is Iron Maiden live at the Ploughing Championships '98. Iron Maiden have kind of fallen on hard times recently. First it was Woodstock, now it's Wexford. It's so good when they do that. And they're going, Ace of Spades, the Ace of Spades. And all the farmers are going, what in God's name is that man singing about? Like? And he goes, Pat, it's the Ace of Spades. Oh, I love that one. Yeah, okay, grand. And it's like that.
Okay, I actually will give you full points because you, again, more or less got it right. The actual answer is actually quite shocking. But every year in Ireland, there is a secret convention of hardcore heavy metal fans where for a weekend they live the dream of rock and roll excess with alcohol, drugs, heavy metal music, and riding pigs. Red one was doing very well there, I thought. There. Yeah. So, Brendan and Anne, for you, we have a shocking crash.
Yes, crash test dummy with joint in hand. This is the government trying to prove yet again that dope is bad for you. So they've given him a joint and then they've put him into a car which is going to crash into a wall, and of course they're going to blame the dope. And the interesting thing about that is that they have discovered now that they gave a mouse, when subjected to 5 pounds of hash, did have permanent brain damage. It was when they dropped it on his head. Anne.
Anne.
Don't talk shocking to me. I know that dummy. That, in fact,
Colleague of yours.
that is a test for, it's a new hand pump operated, air inflated Wonder Bra. And the test is to see what happens if you wear it. Keep your eyes up, sweetheart. There's not all that much for you to be looking down at.
It sounds really dirty when you say it.
If you wear this and you're reckless enough to smoke at the same time, the idea was to find out what happened. And like lots of people around here, you lose a lot of hot air.
Well, I'll give you full points again because Anne gave a really dirty answer. Well, obviously it is about testing cars for safety, but these tests were not for humans. They are secret tests for egg people. Now, as we all know, egg people are notoriously bad drivers, and we have some VT to prove it. There he is, that's the god of the egg people. You see, he's putting now, look at this guy here. Look, he's pissed out of his head there. Look, he gets in there, no seatbelt, look, voila, bang, he's gone. Oh my God, that's appalling. Now, next up now we have a Mr. Safety Egg. And as you can see, Mr. Safety Egg, he's putting on his seatbelt. Oh, look at him now, look, oh, he's very pleased with himself. Actually, I think that egg's got a bit of a smug look on his face, actually. Look at me, so pleased with himself. Oh, nothing's gonna happen to me. Here I go. I can drive straight into a wall and I'll be totally on there. There you go, oh, yeah, bastard. I'm sorry about that. These egg people are really getting my tits. So, after all those scrambled eggs, the scores are that Dara's team got 3 points and Brendan's team got 3 points. When we return after the break, Anne Doyle admits that while reading the TV news, she secretly knits jumpers with her feet. Back here in 3 minutes. Midlands.
Yes, we're in Tullamore, County Offaly. This week we've come to Tullamore because this week in the newspapers, Tullamore was named as the location for the worst school in Ireland, a national school infested with rats. Tullamore being a modern go-ahead town has the very latest in home appliances, electrical furniture. This is number 2 on the Tullamore tourist trail. Unfortunately though, they don't seem particularly keen on tourists going down it. And there they are again. We saw them last week. It's those elderly Hells Angels terrorizing Tullamore. Here's an unusual thing. This man has put a sign outside his house to tell everyone his favourite sexual position.
That's the thing you don't say anymore. Tullamore. There's one thing you can say about Tullamore. It's an Offaly. So, Dara, you go first. Your question relates to the controversy this week over the fact that Friends is being sponsored by a drink company, and Friends is watched by young people, so people are upset about it. So the question we asked was, Friends is sponsored by Bailey's Irish Cream. Do you think it's appropriate that a programme that makes people puke should be sponsored by a drink that has the same effect? We asked this man, did he say, A, you shouldn't puke on television? B, the last fella from Dublin came through here, sold me this hat. He said it used to belong to Clint Eastwood, only cost me £750. Pretty sweet deal, am I right? Or C, Friends make me puke, au contraire. Well, I find the show's wry yet warm-hearted take on postmodern 30-something living to be quite the most stylish programme on the network too. And as for that Jennifer Aniston, have you checked out those jugs? Hubba, hubba.
I'm very tempted by answer C there, to be honest.
Understandably.
It is an interesting kind of thing because you could have an ad. You know the way they always, sponsored programs always have those little ads just made especially for them? Because it'd be nice to have Jennifer Aniston in an alleyway somewhere yakking her guts out, like, and then coming up and her hair is all in a mess and she just leans against the wall and goes, I'm heaving with an invisible force. Because the rest of us are when the show is on as well. But I suspect in terms of this question, the answer has to be answer A.
I thought this Friends was sponsored by a shampoo, is it not? Is not that the one where they do where all those people perhaps washing their hair in Bailey's Irish Cream?
Well, sorry, Mr. Smarty Pants, you got it wrong this time.
Well, maybe it is in Sweden or somewhere, or in Norway, or one of these countries.
I just thought it was perhaps explained her hair.
Listen, if you could try not to piss off potential sponsors as well. I'm talking to Wella at the moment.
I didn't know they made cement. Well, let's look at the VT and find out.
Excuse me, sir. Could I ask you a quick question, please? The programme Friends on RTE is sponsored by Bailey's Irish Cream. Do you think it's appropriate that a programme that makes people puke should be sponsored by a drink that has the same effect?
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Well, now that you've given it a bit of thought.
Oh, maybe it shouldn't.
Why not?
You shouldn't be puking on television.
Hey, all right, well done. 2 points, sir. So, Eamon, your question is this. It's about a survey that was in the papers this week. The question we asked was, a new survey claims that most people think nicotine is deadly. Are these the same people who think alcohol is massive? We asked, This man? Did he say A, I've been smoking since I was 10 and never did me any harm? B, I've just heard the dirtiest joke ever. It concerns 2 members of Boyzone, a Hoover and 3 tropical fish. Want to hear it? It'll make you laugh. Or C, I can swallow a whole egg without cracking it. Bet you can't do that, you puffy Dublin bastard.
I suspect B.
You suspect
because it is one of the 3, so I've got a 2-to-1 chance. That's
correct,
correct.
yeah.
That is correct, yes.
So you reckon that
points for
man knows a joke about Boyzone and Hoover and things like that?
And actually, the main reason people can't give up smoking tobacco is that it's very difficult to smoke marijuana without including tobacco in the joint. If they legalised marijuana and allowed people to experiment and developed, as would be very easy to do, sort of a form of marijuana, this didn't require tobacco. The incidence of smoking
Questions and
among a
answers.
younger generation would love
That's the other channel, Eamon. Okay, so you're saying B. Let's have a look at the VT and find out.
Excuse me, sir. Could I ask you a quick question, please? It's just for the television. There was a survey this week that was carried out, and it was claimed that most smokers think that nicotine is deadly. Do you think they're the same people who think alcohol is...
I'm smoking since I was 10 and I never didn't do me any harm, yeah.
Well, Eamon. As you probably guessed, the pubs will never go bust until tomorrow. So, Anne, your go. The question we asked was, this week Kilrush, County Clare was named as the best place in Ireland to pass your driving test. Do you think that's because donkeys are easier to handle? We asked this woman, did she say A, I've never handled a donkey in my life, those charges were dropped? B, you're off the Brendan O'Carroll show, aren't you? Or C, don't talk to me about Kilrush, that place is full of slack-jawed rural types. Be japers, there's a small furry man with 4 legs and a tail. Call the parish priest.
No question at all about this. It's B.
It's B.
But
that's all you're prepared to say.
I suspect that she may have said, you are your man, Brendan O'Carroll. And the only other thing I am prepared to say is it reminds me that when I asked 2 survivors, arguably, of this show, Charlie Bird and Derek Davis, how they got on, they said, terrible crowd, very dodgy show, but see your man Brennan, he's a great piece of ass.
Well, that's something for the tabloids in the morning. So, you're saying you're off the Brendan O'Carroll show, aren't you? Let's have a look at the VT and find out.
Hello, excuse me, could I ask you a quick question, please?
Yes, you can.
It's been reported in the newspapers this week that Kilrush in County Clare is supposed to be the easiest place in Ireland to pass your driving test. Do you think that's because donkeys are much easier to handle?
I don't know. What would you think yourself?
I don't know, that's why I'm out asking.
Yeah, you're on off the Brendan Carr show.
Yeah, well done, 2 points. She claims she watches the Brendan O'Carroll show every week, and I'm always on it. So finally, Brendan, your
She
question...
meant the Brendan O'Connor show, didn't she?
Finally, Brendan, your question is about Ronan Keating, who apparently says he's the voice of young Ireland, to go along with all the other voices in his head. So he also says he wants to run for president. So the question we asked was, Ronan Keating says Dana gave him the idea to run for president. Do you think being an annoying little twerp was his own idea? We asked this man, did he say A, are you Moncrief? Can I kiss your arse? Go on, please. B, your programme is completely devoid of entertainment and the sooner it goes off the air, the better. Or C, the 70s are over. Are you joking me? Jesus, I left the heater on at home.
You told him what to say, didn't you?
No.
It could be A, B, or C, depending on what you told him to say.
It could be. So, ABC, what do you recommend?
A.
Are you Moncrief? Can I kiss your arse? Go on, let's have a look at the VT and find out.
Hello, sir. Could I ask you a quick question, please, sir?
Yes.
It was reported in the newspapers this week that Ronan Keating says that Dana gave him the idea to run for president.
Yeah.
Do you think being an annoying little twerp was his own idea?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll put it this way. She's as much chance of being president as I have of beating Steve Davis playing snooker, and that's very remote. You had a show on television, hadn't you?
I had, yeah.
I'm delighted to have this opportunity of speaking to you. It's the greatest load of codswallop. People devoid of any entertainment, and the sooner it goes off the air, the better.
He was obviously talking about the Brendan O'Carroll show. So after all that, the scores are that Dara's team got 2 points and Brendan's team got 2 points. And just to fill up the last bit of void, here's our final unentertaining round, 60 seconds of facts. The team get asked a minute's worth of questions about the week's events. They get a point for the right answer, or 2 if they get a laugh from our audience of egg people. So, Dara and Eamon, your 60 seconds of facts starts now. A think tank devoted to the study of crime has come out in favour of a debate on legalising what?
Legalising mugging. It would bring the rates down completely. Legalising burglary.
Actually, no, cannabis is the right answer. Eamon should have known that. Yeah. The DSPCA said last week that at Christmas animals shouldn't be used as what?
As
Sex object.
As draft excluders. It's cruel.
Presents is the actual answer there. For his wife's birthday recently, John Travolta spent £50 million in a private what?
Audience with the Pope.
On a private part, he had his genitals bronzed as a gift.
On a private plane is the actual answer.
Okay.
A report from Japan claims that wearing miniskirts makes women what?
Chinese.
Look like tarts. It's terrible.
Dinner is the actual answer. Ronan Keating revealed last week he thinks he would be a good ambassador for what?
The music of the 50s.
Good ambassador for Earth in space. And who are we to stop him? Let him
Ireland
go.
is the actual answer. In between filming their new movie, Kevin Costner has been showering John Travolta's wife with what?
Semen.
That's good enough for me. Attention is the actual answer. There was a major investigation last week after a bottle of Lucozade was found to contain what?
Nutritional value.
Diesel fuel is the actual answer there. So, Brendan and Anne, your 60 seconds of facts starts now. Did Jerry Adams fail to show up at a lunch in Washington's British Embassy because he was what?
He was outside throwing stones.
He was busy is the actual answer. A new survey shows that almost 500,000 Irish people used to do what?
They're sisters.
My boys on record.
Cousin, sister, same thing. Smoke is the actual answer. A guard's Christmas party in Limerick has been put on hold following complaints from who?
The guards.
From neighbours is the actual answer. Last week, Sean Connery said he would never ever play what again?
Full forward for Wexford.
James Bond, actually. Is I'll give you 2 points in it because I like you, Anne. Ireland is the top of the EU's list when it comes to what?
Really glamorous newsreaders. There's Brian, there's John.
That's good enough for me. Dirty Beach is the actual answer. Doctors have recently warned... No pun there, of course. Doctors have recently warned their teenagers' hearing is at risk from what?
Glamorous
From about-
newsreaders.
About 12 until about 20. Not
Walkmans
included.
is the actual answer there. Despite monitoring him for 4 decades, the FBI were unable to prove Frank Sinatra was what?
Wearing your toupee?
Frank Sinatra?
Yeah.
A woman?
Involved with the mafia is the actual answer. So the final scores are that Dara's team of 18 points and Brendan's team of 18 points. It's a draw.
Does that mean we have to do the thing again with the kissing competition with the guests? The tiebreaker. It does, doesn't it?
Be more than a tiebreaker, sweetheart.
Oh, listen, you haven't won in ages. Take it, enjoy.
And I'll tell you what,
No, we'll have the f***ing kissing competition.
So ends another half hour for not buying anyone any present. Thanks to Dara's guest, Eamon McCann. And with Brendan and Doyle. As we go, back to that historic Peace Prize presentation. Earlier on, I rang the headquarters of the Nobel Committee in Stockholm with a small but interesting piece of information from a little village in the west of Ireland. Thanks for helping us feed the gondolas. Good night.
Hello? Is that the information department? Hello, I'm ringing you from Ireland. I just wanted to make a comment, if I could, about the Nobel Prize. My name is Monica Looley, and I'm ringing you from a little village in the west of Ireland called Ahasgraw.
Yeah.
And we all watched the Nobel Peace Prize being given out, and we were delighted with it. And we thought that there's John Hume's speech and David Trimble's speech. They were lovely speeches, and we were very proud of them.
Yeah.
And we thought you did a lovely job. That's the first thing I wanted to tell you.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing is, though, that we were a little bit disappointed in Ahasgraw because Mr. Trimble never mentioned Ahasgraw. You see, because he's actually from Ahasgraw originally. I don't think many people know that. I know that people think he's from the north of Ireland and he's a unionist, you see. But you see, about 48 years ago or so, there was a fella in the village in Ahasgraw. His name was Tommy Ogni Piccolo, you see now. Now, he had this business that he had, it was only for a few months, where he used to paint Guinness bottles orange, you see, for the tourists, you see.
Yeah.
Now, no tourists bought any of the bottles, obviously, because it was a stupid idea, and really he was only doing it so he could drink the contents of the bottles of Guinness, you know what I mean? So he ended up mad from drink, and with a load of orange paint that he got cheap, you see. So what he ended up doing was painting his house orange, and then putting it up for sale. Now, the Trimbles at the time, now, David's people, were looking for a cheap house in the south, and they saw for sale Orange Hall. You see, that made them think that Haskell was, was a Protestant village, you see. You see, you can't always tell by looking at people whether they're Protestants or not, you see, that was the thing. So they came down and they bought the Orange Hall, you see. Of course, they were horrified to see us all traipsing up and down to Mass every 5 minutes, and doing our Marian Shrine things, you see. So they only actually stayed in the house for a fortnight. But we've calculated it back, and we actually think that David was actually conceived in the house, in a Hasgra. So he's actually from a Hasgra. So we were very proud, you see. And I just thought you might be interested to know that he has a southern connection.
I want to tell you something first, because you see, the Nobel Foundation in Stockholm, Sweden, does not award the Peace Prize. It's the Norwegian Nobel Committee in Oslo, Norway.
Oh, right.
They are more interested than we are.
Oh, I see. You wouldn't be interested in that then?
No, not that much anyway.
Oh, not that much. Okay. Well, it's just all right. So, well, you see, we have lots of Nobel connections. There's a fellow over in Caltra, which is a village just 5 miles down the road.
Yeah.
He says he's the third cousin of Nelson Mandela. So the tradition of it here,
Yes, I see. But
okay, but you're not that interested.
No, but that was very kind of you to call us. But I suggest that you call the Norwegian Nobel Committee.
All right, I'll do that. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Slán Awalya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Do I get double the money for this?
They get double the money for this, yeah.
I just thought it could be